news stories, while the 6 p.m. news rounds up all the happenings of the day to satisfy your curiosity. Join our versatile, incredible news team Monday to Friday on Kear Radio 95.9. Today is Thursday, December 12th, 2024. This is the 6 p.m. edition of Kia Newsline. 45 minutes of the most recent news reporting about Liberia and the rest of our one world. I'm Lee Monjue presenting. In the headlines, in battle speaker, Funanti Kofa returns to the Supreme Court with a bill of information following Justice Minister Oswald Tuer's interpretation of the Supreme Court ruling. Government of Liberia secures 18.3 million loan from African Development Bank. Deputy Information Minister Daniel Sano terms the loan as boost to the country's economy. Controversial Deputy Speaker breaks silence over expulsion from opposition CDC. Representative Thomas Fada describes party's decision as arbitrary and baseless. And away from Liberia, Ethiopia and Somalia have agreed to end their bitter dispute over Addis Ababa's plan to build a port in the breakaway Republic of Somaliland following talks in Turkey. This was our news bulletin. The voices of the newsmakers are all packaged for West Mariama Jalloh and the news bulletin. Good evening, Mariama.
Good evening, Lee Monjue, and good evening, Liberia. The government of Liberia have secured an 18.3 million loan from the African Development Bank, making the disclosure Deputy Information Minister for Press and Public Affairs Daniel Sando described the grant as a boost to the country economy, noting that the loan will help address some key national issues. Deputy Minister Sando further stressed that the amount approved by the African Development Bank will create fiscal stability and enhance revenue performance. He at the same time lauded the African Development Bank for its continuous support to the government and people of Liberia. Meanwhile, Minister Sando has announced that the government of Liberia has embarked the construction of 68 community roads across Montserrado County. According to Minister Sando, the construction of these community roads will help address overflowing of drainages during the rainy season. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Thomas Falah has termed recent explosion from the Coalition for Democratic Change as mere bluff that lacks due process. Speaking to journalists Thursday, Representative Falah pointed out that his bond with thousands of followers across Liberia remains intact, despite what he termed as lawless attempt to undermine his political legacy. He further described his explosion as a political maneuver aimed at silencing independent voices within the party. The deputy speaker vowed to remain focused on serving his constituents, promising to continue advocating for their needs and interests. Deputy Speaker Fala at the same time rejected the party's decision as arbitrary and baseless, criticizing party leaders for failing to grant him the constitutional right to fair hearing. It can be recalled that CDC on Wednesday announced Fala's explosion, citing disciplinary breaches and recommendations from its National Disciplinary Committee. The Press Union of Liberia is collaborating with the Liberia Media Lawyers Network has vowed to pursue legal action against individuals involved in the assault, harassment, intimidation, and molestation of two Liberian journalists. According to a release, the PUL assured that the two separate but related violence attacks on both physical and verbal against journalists Yanti Topa of OKFM and Sylvester Cholople of the Spoon Network will not go unpunished. PO President Julius Canova emphasized the attacks on journalists who work diligently to gather information and hold both political and private entities accountable are unacceptable. On November 17, 2024, journalist Yanti Topa was assaulted by a group of Unity Party loyalists during a meeting of the party's National Executive Committee in Painesville, which was attended by the party's political leader, President Joseph Walker. Similarly, on Monday, December 9, 2024, Sylvester Cholople was also attacked by security personnel of Representative Dixon Siegel at the Capitol building. During the incident, Cholople recording device was temporarily confiscated. This confrontation across Representative Siegel's aggressive behavior during a live stream interview with journalist Cholople, where he reacted negatively to legitimate questions. The PUO regards the attacks on journalists Yanti and Cholople as part of a troubling trend of a hostile behavior towards media personnel by certain individuals. Bone County District 2 Representative James Coulee has accused directors at various government institutions, including journalists, of being placed on CSA and supplementary payroll at the Capitol building. Representative James Coulee named journalist Jala Grayfield, Isaac Red, Winston Bladden, and others of being placed on the supplementary and CSA payroll. According to him, such act undermines the tenets of good democracy, adding that authorities at the CSA must act to ensure names be removed. The Bone County District 2 lawmaker, however, vowed to forward those involved to plenary for actions. He said that those involved were added illegally pointing fingers at embattled Speaker Funati Kofa of having connections to the act. But speaking to Kear News, a line renowned journalist Jala Grayfield termed the allegation as baseless. The former LBS deputy manager for rural broadcasting claimed that he is currently working in the office of former Speaker Funati Kofa, noting that as employee it is his entitlement to receive salary and benefits. About 10,000 young Liberians have been certificated after completing training in various digital skills under the Digital Transformation Project. The certification ceremony, which was held on Thursday at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex, marked the successful conclusion of the first phase of the initiatives. Speaking on behalf of President Walker, Minister of State without portfolio Samuel Steve Kwa emphasized the administration's commitment to equipping young Liberians with digital skills. Samuel Steve Kwa noted that the program is a reflection of President Walker's dedication to empowering the next generation. He lauded the graduates and project team for what he described as their sustained dedication in ensuring the first phase of this project is successful. Speaking earlier, Education Minister Dr. Jaso Jala acknowledged the administration's dedication to youth empowerment. She asserted that the initiative there is paves the way for a brighter future and more innovative future for young people. Liberia Intellectual Property Director General Gwami Bo has called on the 55th National Legislature to ratify and sign treaties that will protect the laws of the intellectual property. According to Madame Kobwa, Liberia intellectual property is not regarded locally and internationally due to the ineffectiveness of the intellectual property laws. She further added that the treaties, when ratified and signed by the legislature, will enable the country to know the value of their properties and promote Liberian property to the rest of the world. The Intellectual Property Director General further disclosed that in an effort to create massive awareness About 100 SME are expected to be trained to enable them have basic knowledge of intellectual property. Director Corboy admonished Liberians to promote the country's intellectual properties to help contribute to national budgets. The chairman of the digital training program, Abdullah Kamara, has described the completion of the first phase of the program as a pathway for Liberia's technological advancement. Abdullah Kamara said the program is aimed toward a more inclusive and advanced technological future. He further underscored President Joseph Boaká's unwavering commitment to equipping Liberian youths with technical knowledge they need. Abdullah Kamara made the remarks at the certification ceremony of about 10,000 graduates who completed the first phase of digital training program held on Thursday at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congo Town. A prophetess named Reverend Mother Victoria Hope said God has revealed that embattled Speaker Funati Kufa should remain Speaker. According to her, God is angry, warned that any attempt to remove the embattled Speaker will lead to serious chaos in the country. She warned President Joseph Boaká not to get involved with the Speaker remover. According to her, she was told that the Speaker is best suited to lead the legislature, and as such, he must lead. The prophetess made the revelation up Capitol Hill on Thursday during regular session. The majority bloc of the House of Representatives has taken action to suspend four lawmakers, including Representative Frank Safoko, Eugene Collins, Zina Norman, and Alex Sombo Noah. The majority bloc attributed the suspension of the lawmakers to alleged misconduct. Representative Yan Flomo filed the motion for their suspension, which includes the stripping of their benefits beginning this month and continuing afterwards. With this decision, the total number of lawmakers suspended by the majority bloc rises to seven. The first three suspensions included Representative Marvin Cole, Abu Kamara, and Edward Pape Flomo. Meanwhile, the majority bloc, which now refers to embattled Speaker Funati Kofa as former Speaker, has written to him requesting the submission of list of his staffers. This is to ensure that his staffers receive payments for December. The news bulletin is now back to you, Lee Manju, for continuation.
Mariama Jalloh, and a full bulletin of news from the news center. She returns with our foreign development. Straight into the news, the government of Liberia have secured an 18.3 million loan from the African Development Bank, making the disclosure. Deputy Information Minister for Press and Public Affairs Daniel Sano described the grant as a boost to the country's economy, noting that the loan will help address some key national issues. He at the same time lauded the African Development Bank for its continuous support to the government and people of Liberia. Here is Daniel Sano speaking at MICAT regular press briefing Thursday. Bon County District 2 Representative James Collier has accused directors at various government institutions, including journalists, of being placed on CSA and supplementary payroll at Capitol Building. Representative James Collier named Representative Jala Griffey, Isaac Gray, Winston Blatty, and others has been placed on the supplementary and CSA payroll. According to him, such act undermines the tenets of good democracy, adding that authorities of the CSA must act to ensure names be removed. Oh God. Come.
I think your job became a conspiracy. Insane CV as I don't CV as Thursday, December 12th.
Come on, come. That is not one. That's not what that's for. Let me search guys.
What else?
What type of one?
I was stupid.
Who take it?
Now why you do it? That thing, yeah. Like this is right.
Where?
Yeah.
Come.
You're up like one, you're like it.
I won't do it. I don't know that. Therefore,
No, go back here, big.
where am I going?
I will have to do this. I like the way we already finished.
Therefore, let me.
Look at that life on there. What if you? James Wiki.
We sincerely apologize for that disruption. The government of Liberia have secured an 18.3 million loan from the African Development Bank, making the disclosure Deputy Information Minister for Press and Public Affairs Daniel Sano described the grant as a boost to the country's economy, noting that the loan will help address some key national issues. He at the same time lauded the African Development Bank for its continuous support to the government and people of Liberia.
Of the African Development Bank Group has approved 18.3 million financing package to enhance Liberia's capacity for revenue collection and governance reform. The funding support the institutional support to enhance domestic revenue mobilization and reform implementation projects aimed at strengthening domestic revenue generation, enhancing public financial management systems, and promoting transparency and accountability, particularly in the extractive industry. The financing package includes a 9.6 million ADF 16 loan, a 6.8 million TSF 81 loan, and a 1.9 million in-kind contribution from the Liberian government. The initiative underscores the African Development Bank's commitment to fostering fiscal stability, effective governance, and inclusive economic growth in Liberia. The project builds on previous bank's successful governance programs, including the integrated public financial management reform projects 1 and 2, which significantly strengthen Liberia's fiscal management system. Key achievements include strengthening the Liberia Revenue Authority and the Financial Intelligence Agency, adopting advanced financial management system, and implementing policies that enhance national revenue performance.
Meanwhile, Minister Sando has announced that the government of Liberia has earmarked the construction of 68 community roads across Mosserado County. According to Minister Sando, the construction of the road will help address overflowing of drainages during the rainy season.
As a way of tackling this long-term problem the country continues to face, it's what I call a community gravel road improvement project. We realize that during the rainy season, they are flooding across the city. That is because drainages are supposed to control the flow of water are either destroyed or are non-existent. So the Ministry of Public Works has identified 103 kilometers of roads in 68 communities around the capital. This community gravel road improvement will be carried out in these 68 communities, and they will have identified roads that are bad and where drainage systems are non-existent. So they identify the roads. The next thing is to go there. They're going to install culverts. So about 238 culverts have been installed. As I speak to you, they are being installed so that we will get into the next rainy season. There can be the control of water to avoid or to mitigate the possibility of flooding across the capital. This is a very good initiative, and I we urge members of the public to cooperate with the team from the ministry in the rural communities to have our roads put into shape, make them pliable during the rainy season so that we can live in an environment that is well preserving for our people.
Deputy Information Minister for Press and Public Affairs Daniel Sando. About 10,000 young Liberians have been certificated after completing training in various digital skills under the Digital Transformation Project. Speaking on behalf of President Joseph Boakai, Minister of State with Art Portfolio Samuel Stikwa emphasized the Unity Party-led government's commitment to equipping young Liberians with digital skill. He lauded the graduates and project team for what he described as their sustained dedication in ensuring that the first phase of the project is successful.
And members of the LGBTQ, I was proud to see him. Those of you who know people that we celebrate today, His Excellency extends special greetings. And so he asked me to come by to share with you these words. Today we celebrate critical milestones in our nation's journey towards a brighter, more connected, and prosperous future. The pledge to train 10,000 young people in digital skills under the Digital Transformation Project, which I, as President of the Academy, which I announced in January, during the State of the Nation, has produced its first result. A giant step that demonstrates the power of vision, commitment, and collective effort. We want to pledge to train up to 10,000 of our young people in digital skills today. It's not a possible time. We knew it was an ambitious goal, but today I'm elated to believe that as a promise was made, the promise has been kept. The achievement all of us celebrate today is not just a piece of statistics. It should be taken as a testament to the determination of our young people and the dedication of our project team that made this day a success. The effort that brings us here today was fueled by the involvement of the steering committee, headed by the acting chairman of the Liberia Telecommunications Authority, strongly supported by members of the board of the LTA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and Sports,
the Ministry of Education, as well as the Ministry of Samuel Steve Kear is Minister of State without portfolio. Speaking earlier, Education Minister Dr. Jalloh acknowledged the government's dedication to youth empowerment. She asserted that the initiative paves the way for a brighter and more innovative future for young people. It is my distinct honor to welcome you all to the closing event of the President's Digital Transformation Project as we celebrate the certification and rewarding of youth trained in digital skills. A vision from the President that started a few months ago has now become a reality. Today, we celebrate a monumental achievement, a transformative journey that has equipped 10,000 students and youth with essential digital skills to thrive in this complex digital world. As the digital economy continues to expand, the World Economic Forum estimates that the global digital economy will reach 16.5 trillion and capture 17% of the global GDP by 2028. This project serves as a timely and influential response to global shifts, empowering our youth to engage meaningfully in technology-driven sectors, such as coding, data analysis, digital marketing, and software development. Education Minister Dr. Jalloh. Well, listeners, we are just tuning you are listening to a Kear Newsline. Today is Thursday, December 12, 2024. I'm Lee Monjue and the presenters here. Big stories top of the news tonight. Embattled Speaker Folanti Kofa returns to the Supreme Court with a bit of information following Justice Minister Oswald's interpretation of the Supreme Court ruling. Government of Liberia secures 18.3 million loan from African Development Bank. Deputy Information Minister Daniel Sano terms the loan has boosted to the country's economy. Controversial Deputy Speaker breaks silence over expulsion from opposition CDC. Representative Thomas Fala describes party's decision as arbitrary and baseless. We take this break to be back with more developments. Many thanks for rejoining us. A prophetess named Reverend Mother Victoria Hope said God has revealed that embattled Speaker Folanti Kofa should remain as Speaker of the National Legislature. According to her, God is angry. They want that any attempt to remove the embattled Speaker will lead to serious chaos in the country. She wants President Joseph Boakai not to get involved with the Speaker's removal. She spoke at the grounds of the Capitol on Thursday.
The first speaker that was there, I'm not a politician, I'm a senator for. That's the speaker for saying he's pleased with, he's senator because Nigerian people chose him, it was in the government. Why are they coming in for removing? The law says angry, too much, because it's too much, they are eating too much. Nigerians are crying, the government of Nigeria is crying, no more peace, they are suffering, people are telling God things, the law is angry. You don't take them before I'm a government. How you take them so they can be war? You don't take them because the God gave them message. Please say that I end. He's the one to pack it. He said, Lord, just happy nation. For the churches, I will start for the ministry. I will start for all over because they are not telling me. This is months. For 6 months, I've been seeing it over and over. God been telling me to come. When I go to hospital, they tell me to pay money. I don't have money for that. The poor people are suffering. Mama Nigeria is angry. Mama Nigeria is crying. Mr. Walker, this is very hot. You know me. Liberia. Thinking God is telling me you will take down how you run this country. You must be very careful. You know,
A prophetess named Reverend Mother Victoria Hope. Bone County District 2 Representative James Collier has accused directors at various government institutions, including journalists, of being placed on CSA and supplementary payroll at the House of Representatives. Representative James Collier named journalist Jala Griffey, Isaac Gray, Winston Blatty, and others has been placed on the supplementary and CSA payroll. According to him, such act undermines the tenets of good democracy, adding that authorities at the CSA must act to ensure names be removed.
directors here that are currently gaping, they on CSA payroll, they also related payroll. I can assure you, director will be forwarded to CSA for overall investigation. There will be a recommendation made, and I can assure you, the House of Representatives, the Rural Administration Committee, will ensure that the recommendation for CSA will be forwarded to payroll for subsequent action. We need to be serious in this country. If the need will be published, will be published. I'm also saying to you, for those that say things, who not coming to work, we're saying to the entry this video, we are not going to wish on anyone. We beg you, please come to work. If you fail to come to work, well, there's a CSA standing order. The CSA standing order is clear. 14 days absent from work without leave is automatic dismissal. Let me say, that's why this rural administration is doing everything possible to ensure that we have a biometric signing fingerprint area. We can tell people already, people names involved. How do you feel? You were assuming you were an employee of the HOR. You come to work every day, and somebody who don't come to work set out to wherever they are taking feed. How do you feel? Man, everyone, do stop buying. You get what the population is from corruption watch. Corruption for corruption watch is from the payroll. And I let God, but you can't attempt it. When you want to start, it's from the payroll. They say, yes, I see that on CSA payroll. You get LOST pay. He's on CSA payroll, also the payroll. You get Newman. Also, the payroll on the regular payroll. Then you tell me it's an accusation or what? So I don't want to stop there again. That continue. With somebody is an employee. 490 that's I was attaché to the house. So no, stop. This is calligraphy. Why is it going to see? Is it not calligraphy? Is this not calligraphy? $500. Everything will be exposed. I'm saying you want calligraphy. Emmanuel Mafra, voice of born. Voice of born over Represent Marvito. Voice of born Emmanuel Mafra. I will not respond to you, but I do justice.
Bone County District 2 Representative James Collier. For speaking to Kear News, renowned journalist Jala Griffey termed the allegation as baseless. The former LBS deputy manager for rural broadcasting claimed that he is currently working in the office of embattled Speaker Fodanti Kofa, noting that as employee, it is his entitlement to receive salary and benefit.
Whether it is supplementary payroll or regular payroll, I will confirm to you that I work in the office of the Speaker. And my salary passes through the real banking system. I'm paid to the TV bank, so being a office of the Speaker is not something that is hard for you because I work there as a legislative staff because it's office. He hired me, I was president and hired. So I work in the office and I work there for the years. I've been working in the office of the Speaker for the last. So this is what happened. My thing is that if I need to split on supplementary payroll, after the year the law protect from everybody, they replace you on the regular salary structure. So working in the Speaker office, if my name is on the regular payroll or supplementary payroll, it is for the service that provided by the state. This is to work with the Speaker now. I work with property before as program assistant in his office. I was in our office on the last part of the George for the county as assistant director. And after we left government, I was being hired by Speaker. There's not a time to work in the office of the Speaker. What about Nigeria? All these are just areas of senators on the office because those allegations of business claims. When you make up $50,000, but all the ones we end up to them will be taking a gap, taking it for this. But you know, when you get tired, so we got to get it to the making some of the reputation who is in a different field to say, man, for poverty. But you want to make poverty and they get it for gap, that's my God. But we come to the one, we can know that.
Journalist Jala Griffey. Liberia Intellectual Property Director General Gamen Kobo has called on the 55th National Legislature to ratify and signed treaties that will protect the laws of the intellectual property. According to Madam Kubo, Liberia intellectual property is not regarded locally and internationally due to the ineffectiveness of intellectual property laws.
Partner, the regional and the world intellectual property organization will be treating over 100 police. Over 100. Because IP crime is almost like we go out. And that's something to take it right there. Any other person can just see anybody IP rights. So the police will get involved so that we can have that partnership and the enforcement mechanic issue. When we went to them and we had the discussion, just by the discussion, and we were on our page, the international panel started reaching up to my office. Because not just the protection they see, but the enforcement. They want to see enforcement. When you see somebody intellectual property right, you should be held reliable. Now walking free, and the police will help us in that. Not only the police, but the custom officers, because they very boldness. We don't just want anything coming into our country and you steal somebody because we are part of international treaties. You can't go to Nigeria, you take somebody, put back from Nigeria, and you want to make our country.
At the same time, the Intellectual Property Director General further disclosed that in an effort to create massive awareness, about 100 SME are expected to be trained to enable them have basic knowledge on intellectual property.
The Foreign Ministry, the House of Representatives, Senate to come and sign those treaties. Because if we don't sign those treaties, that will just be like, most of the program you go to, you're not see up there up. That's how it works. You're not see it up because you're not a member of the organization. They will send you the invite. But it will be like shameful, you go for a program and your flag is not up. All the other countries there up. So what we sign and ratify those treaties, we are on good footing. Or the political sector to go and talk. So we thought it wise to have the 3 months awareness. So inviting our people, the business communities, the educational institutions, because intellectual property has to do with other institutions, the health ministry, people from the health background, we tended to do that. So the 3 months awareness has been very great. We took it to 3 counties based on our phonics because everything has to do with phonics. You can't just run without having money to operate.
Garment Kobo is Liberia Intellectual Property Director General. The chairman of the digital training program, Abdullah Kamara, has described the completion of the first phase of the program as a pathway for Liberia's technological advancement. Abdullah Kamara said the program is aimed toward a more inclusive and advanced technological future. He made the remark at the certification of about 10,000 graduates who completed the first phase of digital training program held on Thursday at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congo Town.
So first of all, I would like to thank His Excellency for having confidence in our teaching to execute this project. In January, when we made the promise to train 10,000 young, as you can imagine, in Liberia, most people, especially in these years when everything is polarized and politicized, most people do not believe that this will be achieved. I am happy today to accept the project manager and this hand for the evaluation team that went afterwards, the monitoring team. I'm happy and pleased to indeed accept the 10,073 people following the training physically and online. I'm also happy to get feedback from the monitoring team with respect to some of the challenges which we generally intend to address. Also for our members that are executed, you know, the coordinating team that was here, coordinating everything centralized, they were working with institutions throughout the country, from the between the state, and all of them contributed to this effort. I can also announce that because of the COVID in this administration, the stability all of the teachers and the institutions started tuning even before the coronavirus.
Abdullah Kamara is the chairman of the digital training program at this juncture. Region Mariama Jalloh with our foreign development.
Ethiopia and Somalia have agreed to end their bitter dispute over Addis Ababa plans to build a port in the Blackway Republic of Somaliland following talks in Turkey. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan welcomed the historic agreement, which he said would eventually ensure landlocked Ethiopia access to the sea. At the press conference, he held hands with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and Somalia Prime President Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, who both have been a loghead since January when Ethiopia signed a maritime deal with Somaliland, which Somalia considers as part of its territory. It prompted fears of a wider regional conflict as Egypt has been backing Somalia, largely due to its anger with Ethiopia for building the dam on the River Nile. Turkey has in recent years become an important geopolitical player in the Horn of Africa as it has close economic ties with Addis Ababa and security deals with Mogadishu.
Well, listeners, on that foreign note, this have like to draw down the curtains of today's Thursday, December 12th, 2024, 7 p.m. edition, from the 6 p.m. edition of Kear Newsline. This has been the joint effort of the News and Current Affairs Department in the Kear Communications Network. Many thanks to Mariama Jalloh who brought for us a full bulletin of national and international news. James Walkway sat at control and handled the technical aspect, and at the same time show our visibility goes behind the studio. Before we take a leave or relook of our headlines. Embattled Speaker Fonati Kofa returns to the Supreme Court with a build of information following Justice Minister Oswald Tuer's interpretation of Supreme Court ruling. Government of Liberia secures 18.3 million loan from African Development Bank. Deputy Information Minister Daniel Sando terms the loan as boost to the country's economy. As you already heard in the news, controversial Deputy Speaker breaks silence over expulsion from opposition CDC. Representative Thomas Fire describes party's decision as arbitrary and baseless. And away from Liberia, Ethiopia, and Somalia have agreed to end their bitter dispute over Addis Ababa's plan to build a port in the breakaway Republic of Somaliland following talks in Turkey. Thanks for listening. Monjue are packaged and presented. Good night.